Well, Stugo George, I think that was a perfectly nice test for these two. And I know that he's done a couple of Nations Cups before. I saw them definitely, Tony de Bavaria, a couple of years ago. And again, they were back in Italy this year. Didn't go quite their way on the cross-country, unfortunately. Stugo George, 13-year-old, goes back to notorious lines, this horse. I'm just waiting for that score to materialise.
For Australia, number 13.
And there it is, 37.9, 128.5, 132.5. At 37.9 goes into 14th place for Fabio Vanicchiotti and Stugo George. Well, here comes Kevin McNabb. Kevin for Australia, riding Miss Pepperpot, 43 years old now, Kevin. Miss Pepperpot by Peppermill, 10-year-old Anglo-Arab. 10-year-old mare owned by Rebecca Stones, bred, in fact, by Rebecca as well. Kevin, who rode in his first Olympic Games in Tokyo with Scuderia 1918 Don Quiram. He's got a number of brilliant rides, a number of great horses that he's out on the circuit with. Willunga, one of them. A horse that went actually very well in Mill Street in Ireland a few weeks ago. Miss Pepperbot, they've been on good form. This horse originally started out his career, her career, with Thomas Whitaker in the show jumping world, and then on to Caroline Harris. Caroline finished third on this mare in the 8 and 9-year-old championships at Blenheim in the UK. And then Kevin picked up the reins earlier this year. She's a nice mare, isn't she? She's got a great way of going, and as you know, those that watch and those that tune in regularly will know that I'm an avid ear watcher, and watching this mare's ears, she looks very relaxed and very chilled. Lovely walk, good over track, super over track. And actually for once you saw the mare take a really good length of neck as well. Try not to get too much tension as they creep the rein back into the hand and into this canter. And Kevin will ride off the side. 1, 2, 3, change, good. The mare almost, sorry, excuse me. The mare almost thought about getting a little bit tense, a little bit ahead of him, and Kevin was very sympathetic and very subtle in his riding and just said, look, just wait, just calm. He sat very quietly. I think the mare could have done a little bit more in the extended canter. And they're coming back for this second flying change. Two, 3 change. Yeah, it wasn't quite as well prepared as the first one, but still, it was a super change. From that angle, Christian Steiner would have had a very good view, the judge at E, of just how straight he was, just how correct he was in the movement. And again, the mare in the extended trot, you could spot the difference. When she started off, she was very much plain taking off, and then she went sort of plain landing and taking off and going a little bit downhill. Just hold to stand. Good girl. That was very nice. Good girl. Well done, Kevin. He's a super rider. He's a real talent in the saddle. And Emma, his wife, they're very hard-working combination, very hard-working pair. This is that first flying change. Absolutely nailed it. Very, very nice change. I wish that we did have a scoreboard, but we don't seem to have a scoreboard this morning for one reason or another. Hopefully they will sort that out.
La France se présente au départ.
What do we think? A new leader, absolutely. I would have said so. 136.5, 149. I'd have been much more to the 149. 32.0. New leader, Kevin McNabb, Miss Pepperpot for Australia. Very, very well done. Very deserved. Well, the bell goes again as Kevin leaves the arena. And our next to go is Justine Bonnet, 24-year-old Justine, with casting Bois d'Or, 10-year-old Hanoverian by Diarado, the Dam Chica Blue, and the Dam Sire Chaco Blue, owned by Sophie and Justine Bonnet. Nice moving horse. Just quite nice if the nose would be slightly more out in front at this stage. Team bronze and the team silver medalist from the Junior European Championships a few years ago, casting Bois d'Or. Oh, this is a lovely little horse. Ten-year-old, as I said. Diarado, the sire, and this, I mean, 10-year-old, one of the youngest casting Bois d'Or, but they've been going super well. First 4-star for this horse, and first Nations Cup for these two together. Nice walk. Just being very careful now in the pickup. She was just quite keen to get across to the middle of the arena, wasn't she? She's riding her well, riding him well, I keep saying it's a mare. It's not a mare. It is a gelding. But he wanted to get to the middle of the arena to do the flying change. She made him wait and just said, hang on a cotton picking minute. And as they came round on this turn to think about the second flying change, 1, 2, and then overdid it. And that is very late behind, and that will be a ones and twos. And that's the price you pay, unfortunately, because the way she rode the first flying change, he wanted to get ahead of her, so she then thought, okay, well, I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I'm going to come in on this rein. You can wait. He overweighted, and that was just a frustrating moment for them. So, Justine Bonnet, casting Bois d'Or. I don't know whether I think that was one of the changes. It might have been the first one.
Kevin McNabb qui a donc pris les commandes avec ses 32 points. Vous avez vu sa reprise tout à l'heure. Un cavalier donc qui s'élance.
I mean, a lovely horse by Dorado, and great length of stride in that extended. He's got very long tails flapping around on his back. When you stand, when you have tails on, they should just hit the middle of the back of the knee so that they sit nicely when you're in the saddle. So that score just being calculated for Justine Bonnet and casting Bois d'Or. Kevin McNabb for Australia, current leaders, and still, I mean, this is the brilliance of live, because still, for some reason, Reckensteller is not working this morning. There is the score, 35.6, 133, 137.5, goes into 12th place individually, casting Bois d'Or and Justine Bonnet pour la France. Well, now we go to the very experienced Maxime Livio. Maxime Livio, 34 years old. Maxime with Elvis de Us Z, 9-year-old by Eldorado de Us. Maxime now ridden at 2 World Equestrian Games, numerous championships. He was aboard the individual 6th, was it 6th? I think it was, at the de Libert at the European Championships here last year. Had a super spin round on that horse. Nice start for Elvis de Us. Full ride of the Belgian Gilles Botten. I think this is their now second 4-star, these two. He was second in Stregon back in April. He's a lovely rider to watch. He's got a great leg on a horse and really cuddles the horse around and makes them very much part of what he's doing. You've got to be very agile, very nimble in your riding, and Maxime is a lovely rider to watch in the dressage. A lovely rider to watch cross country. Very tidy, very compact. 5-star rider. He was amazing round Pau. 5-star. He rode at Badminton this year. Sadly, didn't really get a plan with him at Badminton. Flying change. Yeah, I mean, the horse was very settled. The young horse stayed with him, stayed underneath him. And the horse that he rode at Badminton was the horse that he finished, must have been top 5 at Poe in the 5-star last year. Great expression. That for me is a much better, much more expressive extended canter. Then the transition back. And another nice flying change. Got a lovely attitude, this horse. I really like him. Very relaxed knee, you can see, with Maxime, and that's another great sign of a good rider in the saddle, that when you're moving in that direction, the knee must be open to allow the horse to travel in that direction. Very good extended trot. This might just threaten Mr. McNabb, you know. Into his final halt. Not the best of halts for Elvis de Uz's.
Maxime Levio and Elvis Dux.
So we now welcome. This is Evelina Bottoli with Quick Joe. Quick Joe, a 13-year-old Irish sport horse by Castana. Owned by Evelina herself. Irish sport horse. And 13 years old. You can see in the shoulder in, he's just a little bit fussy in his mouth. Whether or not that will... it used to be quite a no-no. Whether or not the judges are quite against it, you always remember the tail swishing was always deemed as a bit of a resistance, and the horses were uncomfortable until we remember the likes of the wonderful King Boris with Mary Thompson, Mary King, swishing his tail like a helicopter propulsion. And then everybody kind of went off that and said, okay, that's fine. Quick Joe. I think actually at one point, a couple of years ago, Stefano Brecciarelli stepped into the saddle for a short while, and I'm pretty sure as well that I've seen this horse around. I think this is his first 4-star. There is over track, little bit tense, a little bit tight in the walk. You're either born with a good walk or you're not. It's something that, you know, as much as we'd like to train them, it's a very hard pace to train them in the walk. A little bit open in the uphill transition into the canter. 1, 2, 3. Just a little bit late on her aid. Yeah, it's a good point. We'll pick up on that. Anything that involves lateral movement. We're just going to come to that flying change from left to right. 1, 2, 3, change, and late behind. It's a good point in the lateral for a shoulder in for a half pass. I was taught that basically, if you think of things laterally, when you move your head, your shoulders, it moves your position. So if you think of, let's say, if you're sitting there right now, if you put yourself absolutely straight and now move yourself to the right, but you move your whole self to the right, you can feel that you've got more weight on the outside seat bone. So that puts you into a shoulder in position. And then if you think about when you're going into a half pass, it's not about leaning, it's about where you are in the saddle. So it's a different feeling when you go into a half pass, but moving your head and neck moves your hips, but you're not twisting, you're not doing anything drastic, but you are putting that horse into that position and making sure that you're looking through the eyes, but keeping your eyes down the track and down the line. But sorry, just going back to that, just keeping your eyes down that track. 33.9 goes 10th, 140.5, 137. Really helps. And then again, if you think about what goes underneath you in a half pass, so really thinking that the crossover underneath you, the diagonal pairs, it is a travers on a diagonal line. So putting yourself into travers means that you've got more weight on the inside seat bone, not so much on the outside seat bone, allowing that crossover underneath you. So you are not blocking the horse in any way. And us as riders do get in the way. We do block horses' natural want and movement to go in the direction. So very much our position in the saddle, where our seat bones are. And I was always taught that when I rode for the great Carl Hester in the changes. You know, our seat bones are very influential. It's not about flinging your legs from one side to the other. There's the great Libby Law, photographer extraordinaire. It's not about swinging your legs from one way to the other, but actually the horse is responding to your seat bone and to your movements under the saddle. And we are able as riders to control half a ton of horse with the smallest of movements, and that is quite remarkable, and it's amazing, and it's something that it fascinates me, and I love working with them. Love working with the horses and training them to be responsive to your every movement. They are finely tuned athletes, the horses, and it's our job to make that easy. So next to go, I think we might be running slightly ahead of time. Our next to go is Patrick Roeg with that 50-50. The little doggie's having a lovely day in the sunshine. Well, Patrick Roeg, second team member, Evelina Bertoli, we just saw her for the Italian team. And then Patrick for the Swiss, and Otto Early for Germany, and Raphael Cochet pour la France will be the last to go in the first half of this dressage. And the third team members. So he was due, Patrick, at 12 minutes past. It is only 6 minutes past 9, 6 minutes past 3. So there's still 6 minutes. I mean, running well ahead. And he's within every right. And he is going a little bit early. But he was in every right to wait for his 6 minutes. And it's awful because you feel pressured. And you mustn't, because your FEI time is 15:12 and it is only 15:06. That 6 minutes is crucial.
Cavalier qui était quatrième avec l'équipe de Suisse au dernier championnat d'Europe, 16e du 4 étoiles de Lubulen. Bienvenue à Patrick Rueg. This was one to go for Switzerland, Patrick Rueg, rating 50-50.
So Patrick Rueg, part of the Swiss team. And the Swiss won in Italy, in Bertone del Vivaro, the 14-year-old, 50-50 by Filatance. Patrick rode 50-50 at the European Championships here last year. And he was part of the Nations Cup team, but not his day in Bertone del Vivaro, so looking to correct that here in Avenches. Rode 50-50 in Le Moulin in the 4-star shorts just a few weeks ago. We were thrilled with the way that he went cross-country. You can see there, Patrick, he was very much, you know, we were just talking about the way that you position for a shoulder in, and a couple of people asking where you should be looking, where you should be, your eyes should be. Ideally, when you turn your hips, and I don't want to make this into a scientific calculation, because I think people make it far too complicated, and you know, you can go way ahead of making it easy, because riding is not rocket science and people make it into rocket science. And basically what I was saying simply was, when you put yourself into shoulder in, if you're sitting in a chair, you put yourself into shoulder in, naturally your eye is going to be looking in the direction of the head and neck. Your eye looks between, I don't even think where my eye looks. I just know that when I turn, I'm in line with the horse's, basically in line with the horse's shoulder, my head and neck, and you know, between the ears. But we hopefully are always looking between the horse's ears, even when we're jumping cross country. That is where we're looking, because what's between the horse's ears is hopefully what's between the flags on the cross-country fences. So Patrick Rueg and 50-50. He was braver in his extended canter, and then collect. He went a little bit crooked on him in the return. 50-50, 14 years old, as I said, by Filatance. And then late behind in that flying change. We're always looking. Interestingly, the first flying change was a 7 and a 4, and he's obviously got something in his ear. Just not very happy. And I heard the radio go then, so whether the judges are talking to each other or not, I'm not sure, but he's definitely got something in his ear. And that is, there are flies about, but that is when I think Christian Steiner was stood up then. Then that's not happy about something. But the second flying change was certainly worthy of the 4s. And he has got a bonnet on, but whether something, yeah, I mean, you can see Patrick there saying, what was it? What was it, mate? Did you get something in your ear? Behind the bonnet? I wouldn't have thought so, because they're pretty tight on there, or whether it was just a resistance. Quite extraordinary. So interestingly, the first flying change was a 7 and a 4. The extended trot was
La prochaine concurrente à nous rejoindre, elle monte pour l'Allemagne, Elena Otto-Erle.
It's actually changed now, a 6 and a 7. It was a 4 and a 7, but that's now changed to a 6 and a 7. Just that shaking of the head, you know, not only does it unbalance the trot, but also, you know, you think that it was a little bit of a resistance, really. And just to clarify, when I'm doing this commentary and talking about the dressage tests, I don't have a colour commentator with me, a professional. I am no way a professional. I do this. It's my opinion that I'm giving. It doesn't mean to say that it's right. It's just my opinion, and I know that it opens up a huge can of worms. And I opened up a huge can of worms in Aachen last week, and we're here in Avenches now, and this is a job that I do, a job that I love doing, and a sport that I am very, very passionate about. And there is the score for Patrick Rueg. No individual scores at the moment, but 38.9, 19th for him, and I think it was 126, 126, 129. I think I saw that just a second ago somewhere, but that is the score, 39.2 for Patrick Rueg and 50-50. Just about to join us in the arena is Eleanor Otto-Erle for Germany, and Eleanor Otto-Erle is going early, finest fellow. She was not due in until 3:19, so well ahead. 26 years of age, riding for Team Germany. Finest fellow, 13-year-old by Fidetanz, another by Fidetanz. And I think that is the second on the trot. It is, because 50-50 was by Fidetanz as well. Quite similar in stature, these horses, aren't they? Yeah, so just to say, it's my opinion that I'm giving. I love the sport. I love doing this. I know I'm not always right. I know that... well, I know I'm not always right. I try and do this. I've ridden up to 5-star. I've ridden to Grand Prix in dressage, and it is only one person's opinion. It's exactly what the judges are doing as well. Although the judges see it from one view, we see it from a 360. We see it from all angles. So our opinion is always going to be slightly different from those judging as well, because what we see is not what the judges see, because we've got the TV. And that is a very valid point as well. So just coming into the half circle, half pass. Got a beautiful way of going, this horse. Nicely forward. The walk for me is a good indicator of how the canter's going to be and how relaxed they're going to be into the flying change, I think. That's the first opportunity you get. And already, does she completely let him go? Does she trust him completely? Not Eleanor back into the collective walk. She's been quite subtle with the pickup, and there he's a little bit of tension in the walk, little tiny jog for half a beat. One, two, three. And actually she got there, didn't she? She was quite patient. She really did wait with him. She rode this horse in Le Moulin in the 4-star. Recently stepped up to the 4-star level, these two. Nice expression in the extension. And there, from the extended back to the working, just needed to be a little clearer for the higher mark. And that just about came off. She just about saved it as well. So into her final centre line and hold. Oh, she's done a very good job. Very good job. I think this is, you know, when you look at the flying changes, you look at the way this horse actually performed in the test, the way she rode him was very relaxed. That tiny little bit of tension in the walk. Just before she picked up the canter would have let them down a bit, you know, but it's those little bits. That's the first flying change, and it was on the centre line. Took a little bit of time to get going in the extended trot, but once there, there were very good steps, you know, worthy of a 7 for sure.
The next rider to go is riding for France, Raphael Cochet, riding Divda Duveri.
And there it is, second place, 31.2 for Eleanor Otto Early and Finest Fellow for Germany, 144 and 145, two very good marks from our two judges who were pretty much in total agreement. That will put Germany out in front at the moment with one left to go for France. One left to go for France, and it is a Raphael Cochet. You can't ask him to go in early, I'm afraid, stewards, because he is due in at 3:26. 3:26, and it's now 3:18. I mean, if he's ready, but you almost feel guilty if, when the stewards come over, that you should be in the arena, but he's well within his rights to hang on for another 8 minutes if he wants to. But he's not, he's going to go. Raphael Cochet and Difta de Very, 9-year-old by Herald. Owned by Raphael Cochet and also by Earl Avenches de la Louvière. I think that's very good of him to go early. They have given them quite a long time in between tests. I mean, it is 7 minutes, but it's a very short test. I'm not quite sure on that ruling. I mean, it's one thing if you're late on an FEI time, but if you're early, I mean, that seems to be absolutely fine. So Raphael Cochet, 36 years old, and he is riding the 9-year-old Self-Français, Difta de Very. A little bit open in the frame in the halt there. Very much Anne-Marie Taylor. Anne-Marie would have seen the straightness of that halt and just how open he was in the frame. Again, positioning that shoulder in to come back onto the half circle before the half pass. And here, you know, he is travelling across. He has got good diagonal crossing. Good halt, square, and relax. And that's a really good bit of riding from Raphael, just making sure you halt, you immobilize, and then move back. Very good, very nice. I like this horse a lot so far. And thinking that she's only 9. She's doing a super job. He's riding her just very, very sympathetically. Let's see how she is in the walk. Be brave as you can. She looks quite sensible. She looks very level-headed. Good over track. There's purpose. She could be possibly a little bit freer in the shoulder. But she's got a nice walk. He's not wearing spurs, so she's clearly a sensitive mare. She doesn't need them. She's well trained. That was very nice pickup. So the flying change. Yes, good girl. Very good. And the extended walk, you could see, I think we'd probably go on what would we do on the extended walk? 6.5, purely because of the fact that she wasn't as open in the shoulder as she could have been. It was a nice walk. There was over track, but it just could have done with a lot more purpose to the walk. Tiny bit braver. She's 9. She's young. Still lots to come. Very nicely ridden. Good girl. Raphael Cochet. This is super. This, for me, is another threatener. Keep her forward, keep her forward, keep her forward. And then go. This is your last opportunity. Have you got an extended trot? Again, a little bit underpowered. I think it will be there. I think another 12 months we will see a completely different horse. Lovely. Very, very nice. Yeah, and so they should. So they should. That was a super, super test. A horse that he rode. Let me think. I saw them. I wasn't there. I think I was here at the European Championships. I think these two were at Blenheim in the 8- and 9-year-old championships as an 8-year-old last year. Now 9. Lovely, lovely test. You know, that was just super to watch, and I think this is going to threaten a lead. Is it going to go ahead of Maxime Livio? No, not quite. 29.4, 146.5, 150. Ooh, that, I think, is the biggest score we've seen from Anne-Marie Taylor, 150. It is brilliant. I think she had this horse actually in the lead of the horses that she's seen so far. I think 149 is the biggest score that she's given this morning. So she would have had Raphael in first. That is the standings. France out in front, 95.4. Germany second, 98.1. And Italy third, Switzerland 4. One rider still to go in the fourth rotation of riders. They come right at the end of the second block of dressage here in Avenches. It is tractor dressage time, so arena break. And we will be back with the next horse at 3:48. That's 2:48 BST. 2:48 BST, 3:48 CEST, and that equates to 9:48 here in the US of A. Maxime Livio leads Elvis de Housset, 27.7. Raphael Cachet second. Dipta de Vary for France. Very quick, that leaderboard. I have no control. Second for France. So France 1-2. Second. Bennett Menonville for Erling van der Velde third. Kevin McNabb for Germany fourth. And Sébastien Cavaillon and Regina Bluzy in fifth for France. France certainly are going great guns so far this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Avenches in Switzerland is the host of the fourth leg, and I am commentating on that from America, out here doing an event in America as well, but early enough that we can do this in Switzerland. So great to have those pictures, live pictures. We'll be back with the next horse at 3:48, 2:48 BST, 9:48 in the USA. 20 minutes, we'll see you in a few moments.
Encore quelques minutes avant la suite de cette deuxième partie du dressage du label 4 étoiles court d'Avenches, une étape du circuit des Coupes des Nations, un circuit qui a débuté avec une victoire suisse à Pratoni del Vivaro. On s'est ensuite rendu à Houghton Hall en Grande-Bretagne où ce sont des Britanniques qui se sont imposés à domicile. Une victoire à domicile également à Stregom où la Pologne l'a emporté. On est donc ici à l'Institut équestre national d'Avenches pour la quatrième étape de ce circuit. Les Coupes des Nations de la Fédération équestre internationale qui fête ses 10 ans cette année. Concernant les résultats, après la troisième rotation sur le rectangle de dressage, la France est en tête avec 95,40. Elle devance l'Allemagne, 98,10, l'Italie, 108 points tout rond. Au sujet du classement individuel, Maxime Léviot est en tête, un cavalier qui dispute cette épreuve en tant qu'individuel. Il devance Raphaël Cochet, donc deux Français en tête pour l'instant. Elena Otto-Herlet pour l'Allemagne complète le trio de tête. Mélodie Honner est la meilleure Suissesse, elle est 8e avec tout bleu de Ruher.
We're going with the CCIO 4 Stars Nations Cup class. We have judges SC Anne-Marie Taylor for Great Britain and judge at E is Christian Steiner for Austria. This class is also counting for the Swiss Championship and of course for the Nation Cup.
Effectivement, comme vous le disait Léna, c'est une épreuve qui compte également pour le championnat de Suisse élite. Et c'est donc pour l'instant Mélodie Honner qui est en tête grâce à sa reprise de dressage d'hier avec sa monture tout bleu de Ruher. On est donc à 4 minutes précisément du coup d'envoi donc, de la dernière partie de ce dressage. On salue nos juges. Juge en C, Anne-Marie Taylor pour la Grande-Bretagne. Juge en E, Christian Steiner pour l'Autriche. L'Italie nous a rejoint, une cavalière qui s'élance en individuel dans ce label 4 étoiles. Il s'agit de Martina Christine, associée à Chris Vivin, un anneau de 13 ans, fils de
Well, welcome back. And as you join us, we've got the final 9 horses left to go in the dressage on the second day of the FEI Eventing Nations Cup here in Avenches. Leg 4 brings us to Avenches in Switzerland, the host of the 2021 European Championships. And at the moment, it is Maxime Livio out in front with Elvis de Ousted, 27.7 second. Raphaël Cochet, team rider for France, with Divta de Rie, the 9-year-old mare, 29.4 second. In third, Elena Otto Early, team rider for Germany, finest fellow on 31.2. And Kevin McNabb, fourth for Australia, Miss Pepper Potts on 32.0. Our two judges, a reminder of those, it is Anne-Marie Taylor from Great Britain at C, and Christian Steiner from Austria at E. Our first to go after the break, it is Martina Cristin from Italy, individual rider from Italy, 24 years of age, and she is riding Crispy 20, 13-year-old by Contendro, the first. Goes back to Heraldic Lines, owned by Scuderia. Crispy 20, a horse that she has recently stepped up to the 4-star level. Janet Weisner and Fosco Gerardi been in the saddle already. Fosco Gerardi will be the final team member for Italy, coming out in about 5 horses' time. You get into the thick of this test very quickly. They're riding a 4-star B test, and you really do get into the mix straight away. So that Holt roam back into the shoulder in half circle. Looks like she's got her phone in her pocket in her breeches. I'm not sure whether I was imagining things. Just watching this horse for me is a little bit tight in front, and I'd like to see him take the rein more forward, travel more. I think she has got her phone in her pocket. I think I would have taken that out. I don't know, is it? These youngsters of today. I think you could afford to do a 7-minute test without your phone in your pocket, if it is her phone, that is. May not be. Nice walk, but again, literally putting the foot down in the footfall of the front foot, so you'd want to see more over track in the extended walk for the bigger and higher mark. And late behind in the flying change. Just the horse. I think you can see he's a little bit tense. She's having to hold on to him and contain him. And then here is when you release, open the leg, allow them to go. And the extended canter, and we want to see the frame extend, and the frame didn't really extend. It's from H to K, so from marker to marker, and she didn't really get going in that extended canter. I would have given that possibly a 6. And again, late behind in the flying change from left to right. When you ride these tests, when you ride these movements, you know, when the directives in a test, and it says HK, extended canter, you're looking for that rhythm. You're looking for the length of stride from marker to marker, and that's where our leaders will be picking up every single mark.
It was for Italy, Martina Cristin riding Crispy.
So as Martina Cristin completes her test.
Avec l'Espagne
Next already working their way around the arena, the Spaniard, riding as an individual.
Now for Spain, Albert Hermoso Faras, riding Kinebaut
And
Wonderland.
actually, Alberto is riding as an individual on both horses. He did a fantastic test yesterday with Colat for overnight. I think he was overnight third, just dropped down to seventh this morning with some very good tests this morning. And that score just coming in. So just as Alberto Motofaras works his way around the arena with Kinemat Wonderland Z, we'll just have that score for Martina Christin for Italy. Crispy, where will that go? A 40, a 39, 40. I just didn't think the walk wasn't 40.5, 126, 124 for 40.5 into 23rd place. The walk, the changes, the extended canter, the extended trot, just those things. And even if she'd have gone from marker to marker, this 6 could have turned into a 6.5, and that would have made big differences from the judges, or even a 6.5 to a 7 or a 6 to a 7 if she'd have ridden from the markers. That's the thing, that's what makes the difference. For Spain now, Albert Hermoso Faras, where he rode a brilliant test yesterday, and he rides Kinemat Wonderland Z, an 8-year-old. I think this is the youngest horse, this mare, by Canter, youngest mare in the field. Owned by Wonderland Horses, BVBA. I didn't think I saw a graphic come up. I might have missed it. I don't know. Well, he is a great rider. He has been around on the scene for a number of years. He's a cool cookie in there it is, Albert Hermoso Faras, and he's 43 now with the 8-year-olds by Kinemat Wonderland Z. I didn't think I'd seen the graphic. I didn't think I was going bonkers. Well, I am bonkers, but I didn't think I was going even more bonkers. She's a super mare for 8. Just her general attitude, her way of going. He's got some good horsepower. He rode Hito CP at the Rio Games. You can see the difference now in this mare's walk at 8 to that of Crispy's walk a few moments ago. Albert has let the rein out. She's taken the rein for a bigger mark, for a higher, I think, would you go an 8 for an 8? You would want more purpose to the walk. But that was very nice. Just keeping her nice and relaxed before the pickup. Walk to canter. Quarters just swung in a little. Will the judges have seen that? She's already thinking flying change. You can see she's got quite bouncy behind. But actually, when she got there, she was very calm. And from the flying change, if you've got a horse that got tight, tense, excited in the flying change, then you're going to then have a very tight horse in the half pass. This is the opportunity now in the extended canter, then the transition back at the K marker to the collected canter to get that excitement out of them if there should be any tension for this second flying change. Sit up, keep the left shoulder up and change. She's, this is a super mare, isn't she? she's going really rather nicely. She was good in her flying changes. She's been good in her work. This is another one, keen about Wonderland Z. If you gave her another, we look at her in another 12 months. Very good. Well done, you. Two very good tests, Alberto Mosaveras. He's a very sympathetic rider. He understands the horses under him. It's a tough one when you get in there. Do I ask for more? What do I do? You can see there she's a little bit against the hand, looking around her surroundings. Nice change. She was good with her hind leg. Looking at her surroundings, as you would expect as a young horse coming in here. Has she seen anything like this before? It might be something that he might just go away now and think, well, should I put a... it doesn't need to be tight. 13th place, 141, 136.5, 34.7 for Alberto Mosaveras and keen about Wonderland Z. For Spain, do I go and put a flash noseband on? Do I put some sort of different noseband on? Sometimes when you put something on, and you only have to put it on loosely, a drop noseband, a flash, that you create another problem. It's something you have to go away and play with. See what works with that individual horse, because what works for one doesn't always work for another. So great tests from the Spaniards.
The next rider is already holding.
Next to go, Sébastien Cavaillon. Another ride for him. He rode yesterday.
Sébastien Cavaillon, France.
So he's just working his way around as we spot him just about to come down that centre line. 45 seconds from when the bell goes. Sébastien Cavaillon, pour la France, 38 years old. And he rides the 8-year-old Ellipso de la Vigne by Arco. The wonderful Arco, the Damsar Duc de Utrel, owned by Sébastien Cavaillon and Ludovic Filatre as well. Ellipso de la Vigne. We've seen one 8-year-old followed by another. So we had Wonderland as an 8-year-old, this an 8-year-old, and a lovely 8-year-old. He led overnight, Sébastien Cavaillon, for France with his first ride in Cochina Blue Z, and Ellipso de la Vigne has had a good start, really positive entry. Just a little bit unsettled in the last step of the rein back, but quickly back into the rhythm. So we saw an 8-year-old mare in Wonderland, this an 8-year-old gelding. In a double bridle. Some horses really settle into a double bridle. I've never been a fan. Probably because I found it difficult enough to ride with one set of reins, let alone two. And at 8, it's a very nice frame. We talk about cadence, we talk about the way a horse naturally holds himself, and this horse very much does hold himself well. You can see that he's really let the rein go and is encouraging the horse to walk forward. Is a little bit fidgety in the head. As we go to the Canter Pickup. I think it was nice. I had a black screen, so I didn't really see, but I think it was a nice transition. And I'd be fascinated to see what the judges gave that flying change. He's very much more open in the frame, isn't he? In the canter. Occasionally in the trot work, he just looked like he ducked behind the vertical a little bit, and I think that's quite understandable for a young horse. You know, you do often see them, they're a little bit weaker. It takes years and years and years of training. Watch the hind leg. Eventually. It wasn't on his aid. So I don't think it'll get as good as mark as the first flying change. Just because it was one stride after when he asked for it. I like this horse again. And we've seen some jolly nice horses this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. So Sebastian Cavaillon, he's a super rider. I mean, lovely to watch, and lovely to watch him on the young horses especially. But that horse, I think when we see this horse again, let's keep an eye. I'm going to write these two names down. I have a little black book, and I've got Gin Tonic of Will Coleman's. That's in my little black book from the last couple of events. I think I'm going to also have Keen About Wonderland and Ellipso de la Vigne in my little book, because they've been stars, I think, today. Young horses in this situation. 34.6, 134.5, and 140. And that is 15th place, 34.6. If you think that Anne-Marie Taylor, nearly said Anne-Marie Taylor Evans. Anne-Marie Taylor, her highest mark is 150. That was 140. You know, we're very close, aren't we? So going well, Ellipso de la Vigne. We're going to see that horse again.
34.6 for Sébastien Cavaillon and Ellipso de la Vigne.
And I would say, by Arco, that he's going to have a pretty good pop in him as well. First 4-star for that horse, the horse that he rode at the championships in the Lyon d'Angers. Now the 11-year-old, GB Keep Cool de Boucher, and Melanie Yona for Switzerland, individual rider. 11-year-old by GB Conbali, owned by Christina Meyer. GB Keep Cool de Boucher are next to go, and already had a ride. Melody. Yeah, first 4-star for the 8-year-old in Ellipso de la Vigne. Ooh. This is a big horse. Lots in front of the saddle, lots in front of the wither as well. So, a lot to ride is what I'm trying to say. For not a very big girl. Will he make the same mistake coming into the half pass from the half circle this way? Because it's a very close aid into Canter. No, she started a little bit straighter, so that was quite clever riding from Melody. 11 years old, this boy. A little bit tight in the medium walk. She's going to have to do something now to change that. You want to see that transition being really clear from the medium into the extended. And he's got over track. she's trying to push the neck out so the frame lengthens. He's long, isn't he, from nose to tail? Quite a big horse. Nice into the canter. Oh, and that didn't quite come off for her, unfortunately. Coming around for this second one. Actually, he tried more, didn't he? He really did try more, but she had much more time to prepare. She rode much more forward into it, was brave in her extended, and that's where she could really afford to be brave, and one of the better extended canters we've seen. And he's got a good extended trot. Now the transition. He's just ducking behind her every now and again. It's a shame when he does that. Whether he's getting a little bit strong on her. Nice halt to finish. Whether he's getting a little bit strong on her towards the end of the test remains to be seen. We're not there. It's difficult to say, but he certainly had that was his first move off. I mean, very good centre line and halt. Oh, just looking. Judge C 8, Judge E 6.5. A little bit mean. Well, that was a very good performance. First flying change didn't work, second flying change did. Oh, there it is, 32.5 into sixth place, 140.5, 143.0. 32.5 into sixth place for Melody Yona, and GB Keep Cool de Perche for Switzerland. We've got 5 left to go, one more individual rider, and then we go to the final team riders, and that will be when we can see those teams change around. Because it's the best 3 to count, best 3 scores to count. All teams with 4 riders in, the 4 teams that are here, and they're represented by Italy, Switzerland, Germany and France. France, for now, out in front after 3 riders. So they will remain in front, that is for sure. On 95.4. Germany's Heike Janka and Mighty Spring, they are left to go for Germany. Just looking at the team scores, actually they do have a chance of going into the lead, so it will be very interesting. Mighty Spring has the ability to do a very good test. So 5 left to go, Italy individual. Then it is the final team rotation. Italy, Switzerland, Germany, France. For our judges, Anne-Marie Taylor from Great Britain at C, President of the Grand Jury. And Christian Steiner, the Grand Jury member from Austria at E. So just waiting for Susanna Bordoni to come into the arena. She, her time is 4:16, and it's now 4:12 in Switzerland, 3:12 in the UK, British summertime, 12 here in the United States. And that's where I am commentating from, the United States. Managed to do Aachen last weekend. That was a lot earlier. I was live at 1:30 in the morning for 6 hours of dressage on the first day. Quite exhausting, but that's the price you pay. So Susanna Bordoni just leaves the warm-up arena.
Elle est dans le top 100 mondial. Elle a participé aux Jeux de Tokyo, de Pékin et d'Athènes, aux mondiaux de Lexington, d'Aix-la-Chapelle et de Jerez de la Frontera. Elle a été médaillée d'argent et de bronze par équipe en 2009. Avec ce Bolivar Giograno, elle était bien placée à ce poste cette saison pour l'Italie, Susanna Bordoni.
Susanna Bordoni. For Italy, she is riding Bolivar Giograno. She is riding on her own, and the last other one to go are for the Nations Cup.
Well, Susanna did come out. I think she's now gone back in just for a final few moments. Stewart going over. And like I said earlier, she is well within her rights to stick to her time of 16 minutes past the hour, wherever you are watching around the world. There are last to go, Fosco Girardi for the Italian team. He will be last to go for the Italians. 4 teams represented. Beautiful sunshine, sky blue skies in Italy, in Switzerland, not in Italy. The Italians are about to go. It was a wonderful venue for the European Championships last year, and we thoroughly enjoyed the event from pillar to post. It was a fantastic win and European title for Nicola Wilson. Nicola, who won that European Championship, claiming the individual gold and the team gold. It was brilliant to watch. We send all of our love to Nicola and all of our best wishes, as to Caroline March. Caroline, who had a fall earlier on in the year, and to Josh Moore, the jockey, who is making remarkable progress, we understand. So our thoughts very much with you guys. To Nicola Wilson, lots and lots of love. Caroline, and to Josh as well. Well, Susanna Bordoni now making her way over to the arena.
Allez, on accueille pour l'Italie en individuel cette cavalière qui a déjà participé 3 fois aux Jeux Olympiques avec Bolivar Giograno, un cheval anglo-arabe par Giograno.
So, the host of this 4th leg of the Nations Cup, Avenches. We had the European Championships last year. Avenches, where Nicola Wilson, JLW won. It was a 1-2-3 for the girls. It was Nicola Wilson, gold, Piggy March, Brookfield, Innocent in silver, and Sarah Bullimore Corraway in the bronze. And Team GB were the winners as well. That team made up of Nicola Wilson, Piggy March, Kitty King, Vondredi Biats, and Ros Canter. Susanna Bordoni, Per Italia, 40 years old, with the 11-year-old Anglo-Arab. Bolivar Giograno by Giograno, 11 years old, owned by Maria Giovanni Mazzocchi. Bolivar Giograno, the individual rider from Italy, and then we'll go on to the final team rotation. Susanna, massively experienced. She's a 3-time Olympian now. She made her first appearance with, let me think, brain work, Ava, that was 2004 in Athens, and then she went on to Beijing with Ava. Rode in Tokyo with the horse that she has already ridden here. Imperial von der Huldakas. And this is a very nice horse in Boulevard Giograno. A horse that was started out by Aurélien Leroy in the young horse classes, the French lady, and then to Stefano Brecciaroli, who took this horse up to 3-4 star. In fact, I think he rode this horse at the European Championships here last year. He did. I know he did. So Boulevard Giograno into this extended walk. So far, so good. I mean, the work has been good. It's been solid. Showing good extension in the walk, good frame. Yeah. It looked confident, looked easy. Be definitely worthy of a 7. Would you go higher? Oh, possibly a 7.5. It could have had a little bit more expression to it. That's being picky, but that's what makes the difference between a first and then lower down. Judges both sat on a 7. Lovely floppy ears. I'm a avid ear watcher. Boulevard Giograno coming back to this next flying change. Keep going. Yeah, he just came back to her. She did the half halt before the change, and he overreacted, and that is something that happens. Keeping forwards in the transition down. Little pat down the neck, and then she just said, come on, keep up to the bridle. Don't let me do all the work. Took a little while to get into the extended trot. I'd have half an inch off his tail as well. So Susanna Bordoni with Boulevard Giograno. A little scratch. When it got an itch, it got an itch. So that last flying change from the side of the arena. I mean, he's done some good work, and actually the flying changes were nice. They were clean. Half a step more in that final halt would have given a bigger mark. That scored 7s. Could have been an 8 if it was square. Well, we're going down to the final team riders now in the competition. 31.9 goes fourth. Brilliant result there for Boulevard Giograno and Susanna Bordoni for Italy. 145.5, 140.5, 31.9 goes into fourth individual rider for Italy. That would have been a good team score for Italy.
À cette Coupe des Nations pour l'équipe d'Italie, un cavalier qui a 25 ans, il était notamment médaillé d'argent par équipe lors des Européens de la relève à Fontainebleau en 2018. Il était également en bronze en 2016 à Montelibretti. On l'a également vu 9e lors du 4 étoiles de Strasbourg. Pour l'Italie, avec Euphoric Fosco Fosco Girardi.
So the last team rider for Italy, just working
So now we'll have the
their way
fourth
around that
to
arena,
each team,
is
and,
Fosco
the
Girardi
Italian rider,
with
Fosco Girardi, riding Euphorie.
Euphorie. Euphorie is a 10-year-old mare by Cillian, owned by Lorenzo Monachesi. Euphorie, another mare. "24 years old, man that came up through the ponies, the juniors, the young riders. Took a team silver at the European Championships in Fontainebleau in France with Feldhager back in 2018. Got a big movement, this horse, isn't he? She, mare, Euphorie. Very big moving mare. She almost stopped before he asked her to there. Difficult when you've got a horse that's as big moving as this to make sure they're listening all the time, to make sure that they don't slightly run away from you. It's very easy to do. Nice balance on the half circle. You certainly don't want to eat breakfast before you ride her, because you'd have a stitch. Because she looks jolly bouncy. Yeah, she's got a good walk. Very, very good neck. You can see how relaxed she is from nose to tail. Very big walk. Oh, just a little mistake there. Because she's so long striding in front, actually the hind leg struggles to track up. I've already competed in a couple of 4 stars. That is supposed to be a turn across the arena, and I don't really know what that was. Well, this is a horse that started off life show jumping with Lorenzo Monachesi, and then has been eventing for the last year or so. So doing well to step up to 4-star. I think they've done a couple of them, Montalbretti and Stregon. They just need some work. She's a big mare to prepare. She's a big mare to sort for the flying changes. But once she gets them, I think she's going to be really good, really super. It just needs to prepare. She just needs to go back and work on the positioning more than anything of where you do those flying changes, and don't just come off the corner and hope they happen.
Pour l'Italie avec Euphorie Fosco Girardi.
That was the dressage test.
Well, a beautiful
Fosco
day
Girardi
in
for
Switzerland.
Italy, riding Euphorie.
That is first halt. She's a big moving mare. I like her. I like the way she draws the bridle as well. Super attitudes. Just once it's a little more polished, then I think we're going to. That's a nice camera angle. We've not seen many of those camera angles. There's obviously more cameras down there than we know, and that's a really nice angle to see the half pass from.
Vous les avez vus peut-être du côté du Cross Indoor de Genève, où il s'imposait mois de décembre. Bienvenue à Grandeur de Lully sur
Well,
la
Fosca
piste
Girardi and
1400.
Euphorie, 23rd place, 37.5, 129 and 133.5.
Et Robin Goodell.
Goes 23rd. And that's the first team score then in for Italy. And get you the team score for Team Italy. And Luisa Pali will be the drop score at 41. Means that Italy completes on 104.7 after the first phase. They will be at least third going into tomorrow's cross country. Well, about to join us in the arena, Robin Goodell. What a year he's had. He was the individual winner in Pratoni de Vavaro, the first leg of the Nations Cup. And the Swiss team who were victorious there as well. Robin Goodell, 23 years old, with Grandeur de Lully, 14-year-old. 14-year-old by Greco de Lully. Owned by Jean-Jacques Funchilling. 23. Another came up through the juniors, young riders. He rode in his first senior championships at the age of 20, I think he was, in Le Moulin with this horse, and again in Avenches, and took, what did he ride? Why is my brain all of a sudden gone to mush? He rode Jet Set, the former Andrew Nicholson ride in Tokyo, retired sadly on the cross country, but what a wonderful opportunity as a young 20-year-old, 20-something, two he was then, I think. And then to go on and win Pratoni de Vavaro with this horse and be part of the Swiss team was fantastic. It really was. Won Stregon. I was lucky enough to be commentating on that as well a couple of weeks ago. He won that with Global DHI, the 4-star long. Brilliant result in Stregon. Global DHI, the former rider Brian Morrison, the Irishman. Now, that for me was a late change behind. So, slight, I mean, not mega, but was a little bit late behind. So I would have probably gone to a 6 on that flying change. Hope this one works better. 3, yes, lovely. This is such an elegant horse. Nice uphill, out in front, way of going. Many of the selectors have done their job, but I would think Grandeur de Lully is certainly one for the World Championships in Pratoni de Vavaro. A lovely test. And, you know, going back to his win there a few weeks ago, he's on fire. He's on fire. It's going to be a while before we get his score in, I think, unfortunately, because for some reason we understand that the judge at E, Christian Steiner, his scores haven't been coming in. There's a technical problem with his scoring. We will get that sorted as soon as we can, but it is only the judge at C that we have the marks in for in Anne-Marie Taylor. Christian Steiner's equipment, technical equipment, is not working.
For this Nations Cup, she is Heike Janke riding Mighty Spring.
So the second last to go will be Heike Janke for Germany with Mighty Spring.
Cinquième à Stregom également pour cette cavalière qui est classée 93e au classement mondial.
That's frustrating. We really want to get that score in, but you know, technology, when you're working with technology, it doesn't always go to plan, it doesn't always work. So you've got to go with it, and that score's still not in, and that's why we haven't seen a score up. I don't think we will. I think we'll go to Heike's test, and as soon as it does materialise, as soon as we have a score, then of course I will bring that to you as soon as I can. But for now, they're just dealing with it. Whether or not they're going to carry on, because Anne-Marie hasn't rung the bell yet. Oh, there we go, she has. So they are going to carry on and hopefully get that sorted as soon as they can. Heike Janke then with Mighty Spring. Our last to go for Team Germany. Penultimate combination. She's 35 Horses, when they stand, don't know if they're, what they're supposed to be doing. It's something we have to train, and it all becomes apparent when you're riding into, like now, you've got to make sure that they are travelling forward in parallel, and clearly that little mare wasn't at that point because she didn't do a square halt. But as she came off the corner, she was basically trying to balance and rebalance. I think we do have a score in for Robin Goodell now. Just go back to that momentarily. We do, and it is a score of 31.7, goes into 4th place. Mighty Spring, another one that's going to go up amongst those, I would say, as we go to the end of her test. And that was her final halt. The mare, not really sure whether she was supposed to be halting or reining back, what she was supposed to be doing. But anything you do off of a turn, off of a straight line, when we come in with Canter to a halt, you've just got to make sure that the horses are connected. They are underneath you. Lots of transitions and that connectivity from front end to back end. And I was talking about the nose to tail ball feeling, that you are sitting on a new balls please at Wimbledon on ladies finals day or men's finals day, and that is ultimately what we're trying to achieve, whether we do.
Welcome to the last rider competing for France, Fabrice Sainte-Marie, riding César Duroy. The last one to go for France, the last one to compete today in Avenches.
Well, the last to go for France is Fabrice Sainte-Marie, riding César Duroy, Self-Français gelding 10-year-old grey by Nervoso. This horse was at the Young Horse Championships at the Lion d'Angers a couple of years ago. And our last to go for Team France, who are sitting pretty well. We don't have a score in for Heike Jonker yet, because again, for some reason they've got a technical issue with the scoring. That's why Anne-Marie hasn't rung the bell. Also the fact that they are running 4 minutes ahead again. Unfortunately this time it's not just Christian Steiner's scoring that's not working, but also Anne-Marie Taylor's as well. They've both packed up. Anne-Marie's now kicked in. And there it is, 31.8. No, that's not the right score. That is not the right score. Don't take any notice of that, sorry. The scores are in for Anne-Marie, but not in for Christian Steiner. Technology, eh? Well, the last to go is Fabrice Sainte-Marie. César Duroy. Competing now in, I think they're third or four-star. This horse went to Blenheim, finished in 11th place and in the 8 and 9-year-olds as a 9-year-old, now 10. bell has gone, and they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna try and sort that problem out with the scoring system.
On poursuit donc avec le dernier
So-
départ, César de Fabrice Sainte-Marie.
Last to go. Fabrice Santamarie, of no age and of no breedings. He's a 10-year-old by Nervoso, the Self-Français. I'm a sucker for a grey. I love a grey, I have to say. So it's such a shame that the scoring packed up right towards the end of the day. Nice big horse, nice open way of going. You're looking really for the front of the face to be vertical. You see there, he rode forwards into that, and it was looked from here like it was a very nice square halt. So I don't know what's going on now with the scoring, because as far as they're concerned, on Reckensteller, this horse is finished and has got a score. I'm going to write that score down and see if that does come into play. I don't know. I mean, it is 44 minutes past the hour, right? Yes. So he's not in. I presume this horse hasn't done his test in the future. So Mighty Spring now 32.0 with Heike Janka. Just to confirm that. Wee, dear. So she goes into 6th place. That score now being confirmed. Cesar Dewa, well, that I don't know what is going on. Don't worry about it. Concentrate what's going on in front of you. Just calm down. Don't overthink the change this time, Cesar. He's a big horse. You can see him really thinking about the flying change and how he's doing that. The tail, we were talking about King Boris and his tail that went like a helicopter propulsion. He's the same. It's not because of anything. It's just his demeanour, the way he goes. Fabrice Santamarie and Cesar Dewa, the last to go in this dressage here today. Oh, look at him. Was that for me? Oh, you shouldn't. Lovely horse. We'll see where that goes. Cesar Dewa. They've had all sorts of trouble. That's a great angle again from the half, passing it onto the centre line. Really good angle. Just a little bit of a wiggle as he came off the centre line. Very, very abrupt salute. So it'll be a few moments before we get that score in. Having a little bit of trouble with the technicals in Switzerland. But it will be Maxime Livio and Elvis de Uzed that lead on 27.7 for France, individual rider for France. Second, Raphael Cochet and Tifta de Very. There is that score, 141, 143.5, 35.7. Top 10 goes 8th. So a very, very good score. 35, no, 35.7 does not go 8th, I'm afraid. So don't take any notice of that. 35.7, according to me, would go 24th. So that score on your screens was not correct. So just to confirm, that score was not correct. It might be 35.7. If it is 35.7, it will go into 24th place. Not into 8th, because on 8th, in 8th is 32.3. Well, we'll hopefully bring you the leaderboard and the team standings. Here are the team standings. It is 95.4, France out in front. Germany only 0.4 behind in second. Switzerland in third on 103.7. And Italy fourth on 104.5. That is to go forwards into tomorrow's cross-country. And make sure you're joining us for all of that action. That is live at 12:45 CEST, 11:45 BST. And the individual standings, hope we do get a chance to look at those. Again, just seeing where this horse went. And Cesar de Roy has now gone into 23rd place on 35.7. That is confirmed. So Maxime Livio for France, Elvis de Uzed, 27.7 will be our overnight leader. Raphael Cochet, Tifta de Very in second, 29.4. Eleanor Otto Early, finest fellow for Germany in third, with Robin Goodell. Grandeur de Lully for Switzerland in fourth, 31.7. Susanna Bordoni right up there again for Italy, the highest placed Italian rider. Bolivar Giagrano, 31.9. Kevin McNabb for Australia. Heike Janka, Mighty Spring, we saw them just a few moments ago in sixth, equal with Kevin McNabb. Sebastian Cavaillon in eighth. And further down that leaderboard, it's 36 riders that will meet that cross-country course tomorrow, and we will be live with all of that action. Sebastian Cavaillon, Lipso de la Vigne, that lovely horse, 34.6 down there as well. And further down, Cornelia Dorr, the sole rider, sole representative from USA, Daytona Beach in 25th. Patrick Roeg, 50-50, we saw him earlier. Desiree Schmidt, well, they're all there, and it's all to play for. So make sure you join us for all of that live action. France go into the cross-country in pole position, 95.4, with Germany in second, Switzerland in third, and Italy in fourth. And the individual standings, Maxime Livio leads into tomorrow's cross-country, Elvis de Uzed on 27.7. All to play for. We are live at 12:45 CEST, 11:45 BST, which I think is 6:45 in the morning here in the United States. We hope that you can all join us for the cross-country. If you missed any of the action, you can go back and watch on demand at your leisure on Clip My Horse or FEI TV. But for now, thank you for watching. From myself, Spencer Sturmey, to you guys that have been messaging in and keeping it all very entertaining with your questions and with your support. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow for the cross-country here in Avenches for leg 4 of the FEI Eventing Nations Cup. Don't miss a hoofbeat.
Zwischenrang für die Schweizer Meisterschaft. Robin Goodell ist in der Spitze mit 31,7. Zweiter Platz Melodie Honneur, 33,1. Dritter Platz Jasmin Gamparissio, 35 comme un Fünf, danach kommt Patrick Röeg, Desiree Schmitz, Beat Danner und Nadja Minter. Et puisque l'on est dans les résultats, on voit encore le classement après le dressage du 2 étoiles court qui s'est disputé en parallèle durant toute cette journée sur la piste B. Félix Bock est en tête avec Daoud Lecéon. Deuxième, Elodie Sautenay. Troisième pour la Suisse, Fabienne Weibel. Aurélie Rydbeck est quatrième. Albert Hermoso-Parra, cinquième. Nina Schultes, sixième. On retrouve Carla Brunner au 7e rang. La Suissesse Julia Simona est 9e. Pour la Suisse, Alexandra Buki-Scherer est 13e. Steffi Mailus, 14e. Angelika Dubar, 16e. Juste devant Sophie Gisser et Alexandra Buki-Scherer. C'est donc ainsi que s'achève cette deuxième journée de dressage dans le cadre de ce CCI d'Avenches. Merci pour votre présence. On se donne rendez-vous demain à 8h30 pour la suite du sport avec le cross des différentes catégories. On se réjouit de vous compter parmi nous. Début d'après-midi, ce sera le point d'orgue, le moment tant attendu de cet événement avec le cross du CCIO 4 étoiles court, donc épreuve de la Coupe des Nations entre la France, l'Allemagne, la Suisse et l'Italie. Rien n'est encore fait pour ces 4 équipes. On se réjouit de voir ce que le cross nous réserve. Une épreuve qui s'annonce palpitante, pas des plus faciles, qui ressemble un peu aux Européens de l'année dernière, mais sur un format court avec des obstacles qui vont s'enchaîner rapidement. Faites passer le message autour de vous demain début d'après-midi, le cross du 4 étoiles. Et puis bien évidemment toutes les autres catégories. On se réjouit de vous voir demain. Si vous devez nous quitter, nous vous souhaitons une très bonne soirée. Sinon, profitez encore de nos exposants, de notre cantine. Et on se donne rendez-vous demain. Merci Léna et je te cède la parole pour l'anglais.
Thank you, Lisa. We are done for today, and with the dressage, we are looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 8:30 for a very exciting cross-country day. Have a great evening.